amazing body horror film that we would jump at the chance of making.
Are you going to make it rated R?
Yes, rated R.
Let's have some violence.
You know, the fact that no one, including James Gunn, has any idea what's going on with the DCU, I thought we'd talk about a new little episode we're doing called Who Is He? For Clayface. Pull up a chair, my Squidward-shaped little friends, and let me take you on a tale down the rabbit hole of Clayface. First things first, there are multiple renditions of Clayface, about 7 to be exact. Different actors, different storylines, all from different comics. Now, sure, depending on what rabbit hole you want to fall in, get your ankle broken in, that's going to be completely up to you. If you look back at one of the basic origins, there's going to be a little fella called Basil Karlo. With like most storylines, Basil Karlo was indeed an actor who ended up falling out of the limelight, which is going to be like most Hollywood nowadays, but that's because they can't keep their mouth shut and they just suck. This guy was going to be in the process of starring in his own movie, but once they decided that for Basil Karlo, the production was going to be moving on without him, he lost his mind and absolutely went insane and decided to sabotage everything. But little did everyone know that he was an absolute gigachad and decided to put on his own monster costume and decided to reenact the killings from that movie to people on the set. I mean, yeah, sure, that's definitely not going to be exciting and kind of sucks, but thankfully we got some better shit now and actually decided to do something good.
Ha! Gay!
And if you were a normal person and had a childhood like me, you had the Batman animated series. And I'm sure there's some people out there that didn't like the animated series. Those people are called assholes. That brings us to Batman the Animated Series with Matthew Hagen, arguably one of the most notorious and best Clayface renditions that we have ever seen. And the best Batman. The basic storyline and what I loved about the series specifically for me was the Clayface story type. Matt Hagen, who was an actor working for an area called Imperial Pictures, was once called the Man of a Million Faces. That's what he was known by. But then he was disfigured in a terrible car accident. Pretty nasty stuff when you're trying to be an actor. But while he was trying to recover in the burn clinic, he was approached by a corrupt little man named Ronald Daggett. This little dickhead decided to make him a test subject for a compound called Renew. It was only going to be promised that he would immediately restore his young good looks, and although Renew always allowed Hagen to restore himself back to the way he used to look, it was never going to be that way inevitably. It would always run out. His supply would run out, and he became an addict for it, trying to do everything that he could, going after even his own henchmen to break into the facility. They decided to cover Hagen in an entire vat of all this stuff, which made him appear like a bulky, misshaped clay figure, and you have Clayface. But if it's one thing Clayface can still always do, it's change his appearance. Alright, I'm done with the little jump scares now. You can also remember, even though you saw him in Arkham Asylum, he did a really good job with the introduction to Clayface on here. I quite enjoyed it.
Ladies and gentlemen, for one night only, standing in for yours truly, and doing a damn fine job of it, I give you Clayface.
You weren't even supposed to be in here, Karlo. Why sign up with Joker?
The role of a lifetime!
Pretty good stuff. Everyone always generally loved the animated series and especially loved Arkham. But then when you look at things about how people interpreted Clayface, they always felt very empathetic towards the character. In most cases. All well and interesting stuff, but now what happens when you have an absolute gigachad that decides he wants to be the head of a multi-billion-dollar studio and you only have one more course of action?
Live action.
Alright, I mean, yeah, sure, but is this a smart move to make right now? Alright, well, let's see what we have for the live-action Clayface. So, according to James Gunn and his husband, Peter Safran, Mike Flanagan, who has been notably to do mostly good work, have pitched a version of Clayface. And because this is going to be an older article, and now that we obviously have the live-action Clayface trailer, this is going to be coming to fruition. There's only a few things that I just think, that they've pretty much fucked up on. Because one of the first things that we need to note now is that Clayface is going to be taking place before chronological in the timeline of Superman's James Gunn of 2025. It's going to be beforehand. Okay, James, who's going to be Batman? I mean, seriously, James, at this point, you've set up all these movies, you've set up all these TV shows, and you've just given us a mid-level Superman, but you have no Batman yet. This is just like the Sony universe where we had all these villains that were now turned anti-heroes with no main character, which was Spider-Man. We have all these side quest movies now, thanks to Mike Flanagan, who's going to be running this, with no Batman yet. I have no idea who Tom Harris is, who's going to be playing Matt Hagen's version of Clayface. And honestly, if this is just going to be a body horror movie, this might be pretty good. It's going to have the basic setups of your pretty boy actor, but it's just not going to have a setup of Batman yet. Let me know in the comment section below, are you excited for Clayface? What do you think they're going to do with this version? Honestly, because there's no Batman in it at this point, he's probably going to be getting turned into Clayface after he gets attacked, and then he's going to find some way to go against the people that made him this way, and it's going to be easy peasy Japanesey. God, this universe is going to shit. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe. If you didn't enjoy this video, I thank you all so much for watching. And, as always, until we meet again.